Now, here's the hosts of Top Story, KLIXcast and Jill Skeen.
Good morning and welcome to Top Story, as every morning, and welcome, Jill.
Thank you, Cal. Same to you. What?
Wow, it's chilly this morning. I just looked at the temperature. It's like 35.
It's called, yeah.
That's only 3 degrees above freezing.
Wow, Kelly, that is true.
Boy, better cover up the Tommy toes, huh?
The brain's working on all engines this morning. It's like, that is right. It's 35.
Well, hey.
You know what? Fall is here.
It is.
Is it going to warm up again? Because I'm going to be at the farmer's market on Saturday.
I don't do the news, so I don't really do the weather. I don't read the weather anymore. So no, I don't read the weather.
Well, hopefully people come out to the farmer's market, and if I make 2 pots of chili and another soup.
Warm up at Jill's booth.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Not?
We have, coming up, Andrew Weeks will be with us. He has written a book about scary things in the Magic Valley. And he has a book signing coming up.
That's right.
Saturday.
Mm-hmm. We're also going to have him on for Halloween.
That's right. Yeah, we have full access to him now.
We have full access to Andrew.
We're getting a cut, too, by the way.
We own him. Yeah. I know. Very nice man.
Yes, he is. And at 8:40, we have Sherry Olson-Frank, who's running for the CSI Board of Trustees. So she'll be coming in at 8:40 this morning to tell us about her campaign and her wishes for the college.
Uh-huh.
At 9 o'clock, then, we have Twin Falls City Council person Suzanne Hawkins, who will be here for State of the City. Okay. Looks like the city is getting ready to maybe do some reorganizing in the administration, so I'm sure that will take up a lot of the conversation this morning.
Yeah, so any questions, call in.
That's right. And meanwhile, we have some news, and here's the story that captured my attention this morning.
Oh, no.
Why is it that these things always happen to somebody else?
Did someone come up with a pet rock, too?
Almost, yes.
What?
One New York couple has a pet project that's simultaneously ridiculous and ridiculously lucrative. Former designers Yana Kim and David Fung are raking in between $10,000 to $15,000 a month, dressing up and photographing their 5-year-old Shiba Inu doggy, raking in cash to the point that the Daily Dot reports that the couple have quit their day jobs to photograph their pup full-time.
And take care of it meticulously because this is their cash cow.
No kidding.
I wonder if it's
a
like
cash cow is a dog.
Leona Helmsley, please. He's sleeping at the Four Seasons. They're feeding him nothing but Kobe beef. Please, little doggy, live. I have no idea what a Shiabu Inu is.
I saw a picture of it online. It was
my computer
like a dog
somehow doesn't bring down pictures.
Bodie, named after Patrick Swayze's surfer character in Point Break, Fast Company reports, happens to be able to sit still, wear mostly Fung's clothes and even glasses, and apparently look ridiculously cute doing it.
Because she's a clothes designer, or he is?
They
have a clothing designer. So
Kim and Fung first started photographing Bodie in the spring of 2013, more as a gag than anything else, Fung says, but their photos touched a nerve on social media. Bodie, operating under the online name Menswear Dog, boasts roughly 150,000 followers on Instagram and 224,000 on Tumblr and 91,000 on Facebook.
Wow.
He brings in the big bucks thanks to ad campaigns for the likes of Coach, American Apparel, Brooks Brothers, Purina,
of course,
with whom they have a monthly contract,
of course,
and others. He has also graced the pages of GQ, Nylon, Time, Esquire, and more. The Menswear Dog book, because of course there is one, is due out next month.
You know, I think I should change my marketing strategy for my cookbook. Maybe I should have a dog eating some of my food and photographing it.
Now you're talking. See, marketing.
Even dogs will eat it.
I know.
That does make you just go, oh my gosh. My little Lizzie was a curmudgeon, but you never think of those things,
I know. Well, and speaking of babying your pooch.
Who doesn't?
This last Saturday.
There's a lot of people don't.
Last Saturday, our 2 dogs, Mabel and Moby, were outside. and they got into a fight.
I know.
And it was a knockdown, drag-out, I'll tell you what. Our little 1-year-old Boston Terrier,
Mabel,
whipped up on Moby, who's about 6 and about 12 pounds heavier, and bit him on the front legs a lot. Apparently he had her down or something, and she was biting the wadding out of his leg.
Did he have to get stitches?
No stitches, but he's all stiff and sore, so we've got him all wrapped up. He's been laying on the couch and getting first-class attention, and we bring the water to him and let him lap it up. And he has really been eating that up, I'll tell you. He's getting better now. We took him to the vet Monday, and we had done pretty much everything that we could, except we got him some medicine, some
this is not the first time. Is the vet getting concerned? Because this is I think it's what happened to my mom's dog.
A friend of mine brought his dogs over, and there was a fence between them, but due to the jealousy apparently with our dogs, they started fighting. And we didn't know that this was going on until my wife looked out the door to get them inside, and they were all bloody, so I don't know.
I told you, my mom lost her finger down to her knuckle.
Yeah.
She got in the middle of the dogs, and she had to give the dog away to my dad, her ex-husband.
Yeah. So anyway.
It can be scary.
And we didn't take any pictures of that, so.
Well.
But my wife did take a picture yesterday with Moby with his legs all wrapped up, sitting on the couch, and a note that says, I picked a fight with my little sister and lost.
That's a little scary.
So, I know, it is.
I just hope it doesn't escalate.
I do too. 7360300 is the number to call. Top story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Jill, this will make you feel great. According to the Times News, Twin Falls 5-day weather forecast for Saturday, it says mostly sunny, precip chance 5%. High of 69, low of 42.
Wow,
there you
go.
Perfect day.
And then if I actually bring the 2 8 quarts of soup again and starts to rain, it's definitely me.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for that weather report.
Thank you. All right.
All right, so there you
go.
go.
Weatherman.
Highs in the high 60s then on Saturday.
It's the last day of the farmers market, people. Go out there. They're going to have all sorts of fun events, and we're going to try to fit the guy in to promote it on Friday.
Well, continuing on with the news, Governor Butch Otter is asking the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals for an 11-judge panel to review the 3-judge ruling that overturned Idaho's gay marriage ban last week. Otter announced yesterday in a news release that the federal judges failed to use the correct legal standard to Idaho's constitutional definition of marriage. Otter argues that already one Idaho business has been harmed by the judge's ruling. Last Friday, North Idaho City contended its 2013 anti-discrimination ordinance compelled a wedding chapel to conduct same-sex marriages. A Christian religious rights group has since filed a lawsuit against the city. Otter says he is continuing monitoring same-sex marriage cases in other jurisdictions and the potential for them to be reviewed by the U.S. Supreme Court.
More, you know what? Let it go. There is an exemption for religious. I think they were a for-profit. They changed to be a nonprofit, and then they can do what they want. But for Governor Otter to waste taxpayer dollars on this when the tide has turned is just outrageous. It's probably a campaign ploy at taxpayers' expense. You're not going to win this. Let it go. And Mr. Libertarian, that he used to tout himself, keep government out of our lives. Why are you telling people who they can marry and who they can't? So, you know what? I just think it's irresponsible, another waste of taxpayer dollars, and he's just trying to, I don't know, drum up support or get more money from who knows what?
I don't know. It's campaign season, but he is still governor. He says he's acting on behalf of many Idahoans who are against it. So you know what? Hey, that's his responsibility. But I was reading a story regarding this lawsuit, and apparently the Coeur d'Alene, which is the town, indicated that they are not pressing any kind of charges or pressing any kind of a lawsuit against this business. They said they haven't even talked to the business over this deal.
Yeah.
And the business claims that the town is
forcing
them to do that. So I don't know. It's a he said, she said type of deal. And I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't agree. I think marriage, as I have said before and will continue till the day I die, marriage is between a man and a woman. But unfortunately, in this country where we take man's law over God's law, that's the way it is. There's no way you can fight it. It's a done deal. It's going to happen.
So
and
why
all
waste
we can do
taxpayer
is
dollars?
walk away and lick our wounds and pray for the sinners, I guess.
But why waste taxpayer dollars? Especially when you see the tide. I mean, you have to be.
I agree.
You are governor of the state.
I know.
And supposed to be Mr. Fiscal Conservative, Mr. Libertarian. But let's fight something where you see the trend across the country in other states. You think Idaho's going to be the one that's going to flip it, that will go to Supreme Court?
This is a battle that has been lost.
I know.
It just has.
I'm just saying, either way, you see that, how in tune are you with what's happening then?
7360300, top story, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. These guys in northern Idaho, if they don't defend themselves against this before charges are brought against them, I mean, all they're doing is they're taking the advanced step. The law has already been passed saying that they have to marry people. So these people who are this phony law has said that they have to marry. They're just taking the first step to defend themselves.
They are from what I understand, they are a
for-profit.
A for-profit
religious
501c3 religious organization.
No, the 50 no, that's nonprofit.
Right,
they need to file as a nonprofit, and then you can do what you want. And as a religious thing, there is an exemption for religious organizations, but they're for-profit.
They might have to change their way of doing business. I don't know.
And I think they filed the papers, but just to file a case when you haven't been harmed or forced to do something, then your lawsuit is not really valid. So you'll have to see if it moves over with the facts of the case.
Yeah, and again, like I say, Coeur d'Alene claims that they have not they haven't had any communication with this business, and all of a sudden they are. Well, wasn't them that filed the lawsuit. It was this Religious Alliance Defending Freedom, I guess, that filed the lawsuit. So, I don't know. There's still a lot to come out about this.
They're probably using it as a case, but, someone has to be harmed here.
Still a lot to come out about that. Anyway. I don't think the 11, I think the Ninth Circuit Court's probably going to turn down the 11-man review. So, let's
just keep spending taxpayer dollars to fight it.
7360300, top story, you're on the air.
Good morning, Kelly and Jill.
Good morning.
Good morning.
If I remember right, just a few years ago, the people of the state of Idaho voted to have no gay marriages in their state. So the tide had not turned unless they put it up for a vote again.
Well, yeah, but the same thing happened in California.
It doesn't matter if it's
the people of California spoke too, but they claim that the vote of the people means nothing. It's
well, you
the
can't
law of
vote
the
for
land,
you can't vote for discrimination. You voted for to discriminate against black. You can't do that. It's unconstitutional, and that's what they're finding across the country.
We'll be right back on Top Story. 7360300 is the number to call. Yes, the floodgates are open now, so
That's right. Forget anything else we wanted to talk about.
We'll be discussing that issue, the appeal. It's not really an appeal, I guess, on the gay marriage issue. But before we get back to that, just wanted to say that Dave Hansen and the crew at Canyon Pond would like you to stop by, take a look at their guns, take a look at their woodworking stuff, take a look at their camping supplies, their fishing poles, their tools, because, there's probably a pawn shop is about the funnest store to shop at.
I don't know, but I'm going to find out this afternoon.
Yes, you are.
Because I'm taking you out for your lunch, KLIXcast, for your birthday. Then we're going over to Canyon Pond.
That's right. So we'll be there about 2:15 or 2:30?
Yeah.
Okay, so Dave
meet us over there.
So Dave, get ready.
Dave better be there.
We are coming today.
I know.
So get ready. Lay out the red carpet for Jill.
I've never been to a pawn shop before.
Yeah, this will be her first, so it'll be fun.
Yeah.
So at any rate, we're going to just go down there and take a look. Mm-hmm. I'll be able to see how it's changed since the first time I was in the store.
That's right. So this will be interesting.
They are on Shoshone Street, right across from Will's Toyota at 3rd Avenue South. So come on down and join us. We'll all take a little tour of the store together.
Just look for our entourage. You'll find it.
Yeah, that's right. And they got, anything is there.
Our people will be running around, scoping the place. No, I'm kidding.
We'll
be down there.
The protective service will be down there a couple of hours beforehand.
Our advanced team.
Checking the building tops.
I will be wearing a bulletproof vest.
Oh, my.
No worries there.
No worries. Okay, so we'll be there at Canyon Pond this afternoon. 736-0300 is the number to call. You are on Top Story. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I wanted to say I'm an independent, but I usually vote more towards Republican, and I'm the governor defending using our tax dollars, and I pay thousands of dollars each year to the state as a taxpayer. This is more than just a fight against same-sex marriages. It's a fight that us voters of Idaho voted and passed, and now we have the Supreme Court telling us we don't have the right to do that. They are stepping all over our rights. And when a state passes by majority from its voters, the federal government, Supreme Court, has no right telling us we're wrong.
Well, actually, they do. I mean, they determine what is constitutional or not. They're the final say in laws. It's just like they were with the Civil Rights Act, where it was against the law to marry a white person and a black person. No, the Supreme Court has the final say. They're the law of the land, the ultimate law. That's how it works.
And I know the governor's fight against this is making a lot of people happy, and I understand that. I just think it's a lost cause at this point. I think we've lost this battle, and maybe, I still have my own personal beliefs, as does everyone else, but there comes a time when you have to stop beating your head against the wall because it's starting to hurt you more than it is anybody else, and I'm afraid that we've kind of reached that point. Look at it. It happened to California, and it's happening to other states. It's just the way it is, and we're going to have to back up and regroup and fight this thing in another manner because we can't do it this way.
Or here's a news flash. If you don't agree with gay marriage, then don't marry someone of the same sex. There you go.
736-0300 is the number to call. Let's try this one here. Top Story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. How are you?
We're doing
great.
swell.
How are you?
Guys, Kelly, you're retiring, I understand.
I am.
Congratulations.
Thank
I'm very
you.
happy for you.
I've had enough.
Oh, please. I should be retiring.
we have certainly enjoyed you over the years, I got to tell you.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
It's been a real pleasure talking to you and listening. Anyway, back to what I was going to say. That last caller, I think, was right. The Butch Otter, all he's doing is what he took an oath to do, to uphold and defend the Constitution of the state of Idaho. And the Constitution of the state of Idaho does say marriage between a man and a woman.
That's correct.
So if he's going to spend money, I would rather see him spending money on this, even though it's a lost cause. Gail, you're right. The tide has turned, and I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to like it, but it is what it is. But I would much rather see him spending money on this than other stuff they could be wasting it on. Because at least he's standing up for the people of Idaho who have voted to not have gay marriage. He's standing up for them, saying, this is what we want, and we're gonna take it to the end. But at least somebody in the government has guts enough to do that. He's not going to say, well, okay, we're going to roll over here like we so many states have done to the federal government. He's taken a stand,
but he's already gone to court.
It was
already overturned.
I understand, Joe, and you're exactly right. I can't disagree with you. But our Constitution still says in the state of Idaho, no gay marriage.
Right, and a court has already overturned that. And when you think about how flush with money Idaho is, are you kidding me? To waste it on something like this. He's also had problems with CCA. Our education is just abominable. But let's put money towards now going to another fight when we already had one with a 3-judge panel. Come on. At what point you go, this is a waste of taxpayer dollars?
When we come back, we'll have Andrew Weeks with us. He is a local author, and he's written a book about scary stuff in the Magic Valley. We're going to talk about that. Was the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Don't forget about the Low and Honey Wagon from Stanley and Company. Now, this isn't for everybody, but
no, it's not.
If you have a big livestock operation, feedlot or dairy or something like that, where manure can be an issue at times, then you might be interested in this. The Low and Honey Loader, it loads all types of manure from liquid to frozen and dry, and they have a huge inventory of parts in stock and on-site service. And if you want to see one of these in operation, get a hold of Pat Hartzell, 280-1167. He can set you up with an appointment so you can actually see one as it is operating and talk to the owner and kick the tires and look around and take pictures and tap here and there, and make sure it's going to hold up. So Pat Hartzell, he can also sell you one. 280-1167, the Low and Honey Loader with Stanley and Company. We have Andrew Weeks with us this morning. Andrew Weeks is an author, and he also works for us here at Town Square Media. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
And we had you because, first you're a nice guy, and then you promised to take us out to lunch. No, I'm just kidding.
That's right.
Payola.
Yeah, right. Payola. But no, you have written several books. You have a book signing coming up this Saturday at Barnes & Noble.
I do. It's going to be from noon to about 3 p.m., and I'm going to be signing a few books. I've most particularly the ones that will interest Idaho readers is one called Haunted Idaho: Ghosts and Strange Phenomena of the Gem State. I'm sorry, I almost said Beehive State. I did write one about Utah as well.
Oh, yeah. All this media just blends together.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then the other book you had, because we had you on the show, was it like a year ago?
It might have been a couple years ago.
Okay, and because you wrote another one.
Ghosts of Idaho's Magic Valley, Hauntings and Lore. So specifically on the Magic Valley.
Well, that's exciting. We're going to have you back, by the way, for Halloween to go into depth to some of these stories. But what made you start to write it? Have you always been fascinated with, I don't know, the other side?
Well, to a point. I love... I like horror stories. I like ghost stories. I think everybody kind of does to a point. Maybe not.
Everybody likes to be scared.
Yeah. So, I like some Stephen King stories, things like that.
Oh, I could never read his stuff.
No, you should try it.
No, I want to sleep
Salem
at night.
Flies.
I like to watch the movies that come out with Stephen King.
Oh, the books are always better, though.
That's what I understand, but I'm not a big reader.
You should be.
I know.
You would think, wouldn't you? Yeah.
So if I give you a book, you have to promise to read it.
Okay.
That's a hard promise.
Well, if it's something about local interest, then I probably
you would like that.
Yeah,
you would like it. So what
Yeah.
are things did you learn? Like what? So did you just have a fascination with ghost stories and then you thought, I'll start to write some? How did you get into this?
Well, actually, how I got into this is I had an idea for a book, and I pitched it to a publisher, and they really liked the idea, but they said it really wasn't for them.
Yeah.
But it opened the conversation to doing something for them, and they had this series going on about hauntings in different states, and with a lot of history in it. So that appealed to me, and I, they liked my writing as a journalist and things like that. I was working for a newspaper at the time, and it opened up communication between us, and it went from there. So I pitched an idea for them about this series. They loved it. They got on board. So I did the Utah book. That was the first one. And then after that, they approached me and said, "Hey, we want you to do an Idaho book. We want you to do an Oregon book." So I'm like, "Hey,
Wow.
they're approaching me now, so that's pretty good."
That's
They're all
right.
haunted.
You got it, yeah.
And how do you find?
arrived.
How do you find these stories, especially when you go to other cities? Or how do you find some of the stories in Idaho? Just talking to local people that have been here forever. But you didn't talk to KLIXcast.
I am going to talk to KLIXcast about something else later on.
The studio's haunted.
Oh, how do you like
the
that?
studio is haunted. I'm possessed every day. Anyway.
No, it's like it's haunted with a liberal or something.
Stop.
There,
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
And I hear these weird voices. It sounds like Fran Drescher from Nanny. I don't know. It haunts me. Anyway,
How do you find the stories?
Well, sure. Well, when I approached the book, I was like, I want to do it a little bit different than some of the other books. Maybe I don't want to just rely on history and folktale.
Right.
I want to talk to real people, see if they do have experiences. But I'm like, will people talk to me about this stuff? Will I get enough to fill a book? And I was surprised. There's a lot of people that claim to have had experiences with the paranormal, and they were pretty open to me. One thing I did is someone told me, just walk down Main Street and talk to people. Main Avenue. So I did that, knocking on business doors, and
So they called the police and said, "Hey, there's a stalker down here."
yeah, exactly.
And so you just knocked on doors and people had stories?
A lot of it, yeah.
Have you ever experienced anything yourself?
I was thinking that would be great if I did while writing these books, but I've been in some creepy places. Now I don't ghost hunt. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I approach it as more of a journalistic standard. Talking to people, interviewing them, researching the history. But yeah, one time I was writing. This was late at night after work. I was writing, and I thought I heard some stuff, and it's like, okay, it's time to go to bed.
Would that scare you if you had an encounter?
Oh, I don't know. Probably not, but maybe so.
So book signing this Saturday, 9 to 3, Barnes & Noble. If you buy it there, they get 10% off,
so 9
right?
9 to 3 or noon to 3?
Noon to 3.
Noon to 3. Sorry,
yes.
noon to 3. I was going to make you work 3 more hours.
No problem.
Noon to 3.
Yes, and I will have Halloween candy, so come by.
Oh, very cool.
Candy, and I'll sign a book for you.
Yes, I'd love to hear your stories if you have any.
Very cool. Thanks, Andrew Weeks. Appreciate it.
Andrew Weeks.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Barnes & Noble.
Coming
noon.
up, we have Sherry Olson-Frank. She is a candidate for CSI Board of Trustees. That's next here on Top Story. 7360300 is the number to call. Welcome back here on Top Story. Reminder, we have Twin Falls City Council person Suzanne Hawkins coming up at 9 o'clock with the State of the City. Looks like they're looking at kind of a big reorganization of the city administration, so we'll be able to get the lowdown on the showdown coming up at 9 o'clock with her.
That's right.
Right now we have Sherry Olson-Frank from Twin Falls, and Sherry is running for CSI Board of Trustees. Good morning, Sherry.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. Great to be here.
What made you decide, well, for people, you might want to give a little bit of background, and also why did you decide to run for CSI Board of Trustees?
Well, I'm a local CPA. I have gone to school at CSI. CSI is very important to me in my background. I've done dog obedience out there. I've been on the Business and Management Advisory Board. It's just been a real, CSI has just been a real asset to the community and real important to my life. And so when I saw the Cox check, information.
Coach Cox, in case people haven't followed this saga.
Coach Cox and the check and all the documentation that was there. I noticed that originally they had taken the taxes out of the paycheck because it says employee termination check. It says employee term on it. So he's an employee. When you're an employee, the IRS says you must withhold FICA taxes.
Okay.
And originally, the documentation shows that information was pulled, or those taxes were withheld, and then it was crossed out, and 1099 was put on the side. As an accountant, a 1099 on that type of a check says independent contractor.
Right. Now, he had a contract with CSI. I believe it was a 2-year contract.
But he's an employee.
So when he resigned, though,
it was an employee check.
Right. But I'm saying you said it was termination, but the interesting thing is he resigned. So it's interesting they called it a termination check.
Exactly.
That was
kind of
interesting. So,
and you being a CPA, I mean, you would know this stuff that the average person looking at that, it might not even.
That's probably very true.
Yeah.
I deal with payroll a lot, and so it just kind of jumped out at me.
So what kind, could that cause trouble for CSI on part of the IRS? Or?
Well, I think it could. The interesting thing is on their release that they had Coach Cox sign, the back of it is doing all these disclaimers that, if the IRS comes to him, to Coach Cox, that, he can't come after CSI. Well, my belief of what would happen is that they don't go to the employee. They go to the employer, and that really could cause problems for CSI.
Well, and not only that, any agreement between any individuals has nothing to do with the IRS. I mean, they have their own set of rules, right?
Exactly.
So,
it might be just worth the paper it's written on.
Yeah.
So this is the reason why you decided to run for the board?
I was concerned that if they were doing it for something like this, were they doing it for other things? Was there something else going on consistently that needed to be looked at?
So as more things have developed, because more things have developed, there's been an embezzlement that we understand has happened. Is that concerned you at all? And that the person, I understand, is not in jail?
Absolutely. When you see embezzlement and that it's been going on for years, that tells the accountant in me that there aren't very good internal controls.
Okay.
So you would be able to fix that if you were on the board, or?
Well, I would like to think so.
Yeah,
yes.
Or at least have some little more voice in it than just the average citizen.
Yeah. There's some certain things that you can do that would that should help you to catch those types of schemes going on.
Yeah. Okay, as a candidate, what else concerns you, and what would you like to see happen if you are elected to the Board of Trustees?
Well, I've gone to several board meetings, and the agenda, have you seen the agenda? It comes out and it has just one line and says, this is what we're talking about. Boom, just one little sentence.
So very descriptive.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly. You're going, okay, what are they going to be talking about? And the open forum for the public to actually speak is before anything's ever discussed.
So you have no idea. And then when they discuss something, you don't have the opportunity to speak about it.
Exactly. So what I would like to see happen is that the board meetings are streamed. So they're
on video,
real time, or you can go back and look at it later. That there's a board report, a staff report that's put together and put online a week beforehand, so the public has the opportunity to look at it, see if there's something that they are concerned about and want to address the board with. It gives them an opportunity to be informed and ask intelligent questions.
So you're running against Bob Keegan. Mm-hmm. So is there anything that your opponent has done or not done that you would like? I don't remember what his campaign promises are. I'm sorry, but that you would like to see changed or that provoked you about anything?
I don't know Bob very well. We've said hi a couple times, and I'm not really running against him. I'm running for the public's right to know, and putting best practices in at CSI.
Just for disclosure, we will be having Bob Keegan on here at 8:40 on Thursday.
Right, tomorrow.
So. Yeah, it is tomorrow, isn't it?
It is tomorrow.
Wow, what happened to the week?
The other things that have been in the news related to CSI is Dr. Edith Santos' discrimination claim and the threatening email that was sent by someone impersonating Jerry Beck against a 17-year employee. How do you feel about CSI's position for really not pursuing and investigating this and almost blocking the information they're trying to find out about? If you were on the board, how would you feel about this? Had you read Dr. Santos' complaint?
I read some of it, yes.
Does that concern you about some of the claims that she's made against the college and some of their practices?
Absolutely. Not being in there, it's hard to, just kind of throw stuff out. But it's concerning that there seems to be a disconnect between the board and the community. They're not sharing. They're not hardly talking to us, I don't think. They're not giving us that transparency that I'm looking for, or the accountability. I think it was with the Coach Cox thing, they deflected to the human resource. Well, when you're a board member, in my opinion, you are
You're the spokesperson.
Yeah, well,
kind of.
It hits you. If something goes wrong, it's on you. Yeah. You can't deflect it to anybody else because it's on you. You hire the president of the college and the attorney for the board, and then it flows downhill. So you're at the top. So you don't really have, in my opinion, you don't have an excuse to deflect or not to answer questions.
So they said that they didn't vote on it. Do you think the board did not discuss Coach Cox's settlement?
I have some real question as far as their deniability, because the release paper was signed the same day that they had a special meeting, executive meeting.
So they don't have to vote, though, in executive. They could meet, say they didn't vote. I mean, they could still have met on it. Right? Correct.
But deniability, I have a hard time with that.
There was some criticism about self-evaluation, I guess, that the CSI board and administration has just come out with, spent, $5,000 to come out with a document that pretty much says everybody's doing a great job. What do you feel about that?
I was at that meeting, and it was kind of interesting. Yeah. We're always going to think we're doing well, but we really need to have that type of an assessment from folks on the outside that aren't right there to let us know how we're doing.
And wasn't it Mike Mason? He got an award for, what was it, the best what was his award that he received?
I don't know.
Okay, but I think it was his office where the embezzlement took place.
That's what I understand.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well.
Yeah.
Interesting. So do you think you'd be able to make a difference? This group has been together for a while. Say you win and the others don't win. Do you think you'd be able to make a difference on this?
Well,
board?
One voice is only one voice, but it is a voice. And so if I can make, some small changes and at least get people more aware, I think I could be effective.
Okay, great.
Do you think overall over the past years, for what CSI was designed for, do you think it's done a pretty good job?
I do. Doc Taylor really did some amazing things to get this college here in the Magic Valley. But his tactics probably don't work during these times anymore.
Frankly speaking, you could get away with a lot more back then than you can now with that type of a deal.
Exactly. And so, the college, needs to change its ways and, make sure it's got policies in place and make sure that they get followed so that we don't end up with these issues that we're currently dealing with.
One of the things, and I'm not from here, and the thing that I hear most about CSI is it's who you know or who you're related to get a job, not so much your qualifications. I don't think they really have an nepotism policy, and I know one of the board members was supposed to be working on that. How would you change that environment? Because I think that's a pretty bad reputation to have.
It is.
And you hear that all around. I'm not from here, but I hear that everywhere.
I've heard it for years.
Who's your daddy?
Yeah, exactly. Again, it comes from the top. So, once you can change the top and change, some of those policies with the board and follow up on those policies, make sure that they're being followed. It'll take time. It's not going to happen overnight.
What other policies would you like to see put into place if they don't have right now or change?
Well, obviously the internal controls with the folks that are handling the money.
Yeah. Do we have any more details on that? Have you found anything
I haven't heard anything, just what was in the paper.
Okay.
Yeah, you keep hearing that the investigation is continuing, but, if they know who it is, and that hasn't been made public yet, I guess, although everybody seems to know who it is. But
why that person isn't in jail, I don't know. It's interesting.
And I don't know what the law is. I don't know how that stuff works. Maybe there's a good reason. Maybe the investigation is continuing, and maybe one of these days something's going to happen. I don't want to second guess that because I'm
and maybe
not
that
in a
person
position
could leave
to do
Idaho.
so.
Who knows in the meantime? I don't know. So what else would you like people to know about why they should vote for you on November 4th?
Well, I'm like I said, I'm a CPA. I'm a numbers person. I've done work for nonprofits, small businesses. I'm out in the community. 80% of the folks on the board right now are retired. So, how much are they out in the community hearing, from small business people? Because I advise small business people on best business practices, and being moral and ethically, running their businesses. And I'm just not sure how in touch some of those retired folks are with the
Sometimes you get pretty isolated in your own little group, and you think, oh, everything's great, but you don't get outside of it.
Some of them have been there for a long, long time.
Oh, yeah.
Would you set yourself up with term limits?
I wouldn't mind term limits. You get complacent after a while, and you need some new blood, some new ideas. So I think it's a good thing.
What would you say would be a good term for Sherry Olson Frank?
Probably 2 terms.
And a term is
4 years.
4 years, so 8. Yeah. So that would give you a chance to get up to speed on stuff and make some changes and.
Yeah, I think Thad Scholes, I think he's been there like 30 years or something, if not longer.
He's been in there quite a while.
A long time, yeah. So.
I think a couple of them have been there a while.
Yeah.
But then others will argue, well, it's the experience and history that counts too. So.
But then also sometimes you get stuck and you need some change or modern day, times change for the modern day.
Any final words before we?
Well, I'm out there learning new things all the time because I have continued education, and I don't know that with the current board and some of those folks that are on there for a while, they may not be getting that education to bring new ideas and new processes into the college. And so I think that's something, that's probably one of my strong points.
All right. Sherry Olson Frank running for CSI Board of Trustees, and that election coming up November 4th. Thank you very much for being here.
Thanks, Sherry. Best of luck.
Appreciate it.
All right. We have Suzanne Hawkins from the Twin Falls City Council coming up this next hour here on Top Story. Welcome back to Top Story. 7360300 is always the number to call. And welcome back, Jill.
Thank you, Kelly. Same to you.
Now, it's 36 right now, and I thought that was a little chilly. We have Suzanne Hawkins with the Twin Falls City Council on State of the City. And I guess, okay, you two are working on the volume of the...
Can you not hear anything?
Well,
that's pretty high.
It's almost like I can hear you sitting there, but not through the headphones. It's weird.
Oh, come on, Jill. Can't you fix that thing?
It's okay. I'm okay. As long as you can hear me, I'm okay. Okay, there we go. Now I can hear.
We have 3 plugged in. I thought you were on a different one, but there you go. Okay. Now you can hear.
Yes, thank you.
All right, what?
Not a problem. Yeah, I just wish Kelly could listen.
Okay, well, hey, welcome, Suzanne.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. Okay, so we got quite a bit of stuff to talk about today. First of all, it looks like there is a tour available for some of the city facilities.
Yes, Thursday from 2 to 6, Friday from 9 to 1, and Saturday from 12:30 to 3:30. There will be city staff available to give you tours of City Hall, the police station, the Hanson Street building, and then if you're interested in looking at the Banner building and what some of our thoughts are there, you're welcome to go down there as well.
Okay, so this is kind of in preparation for a move of the City Hall so that the citizens can kind of get an idea of what the city's thinking.
Exactly. We have printouts on the 10 properties that we have been looking at over the past year. We are forming a committee, and we're looking for a lot of citizen input. Are we making good decisions? Are we looking at the right places? Is there something we've missed? And we'd really like a feel for what the community would like to see for their city hall.
See, that's why I was confused about why are you having them look through the Banner building, because I thought the committee for the city hall, they would look through all the 10 or 11, what'd you say, 11 buildings?
We have information on all of the buildings.
Are they going to get a tour of those buildings?
No, we have the information. If they want to, we can set those up later. What we've looked at is the cost of the renovation of those buildings and the properties. And so what we've done is our due diligence on what are our best options, and would like to present those first. If the committee disagrees, we can always go back and tour those, yes.
Now, my understanding is that the city does have a contract on the Banner building. Is that correct?
We put some money down to hold the current price on it because we were afraid the price would go up.
And what is the price now that you guys held it at?
This is off the top of my head. I believe it was $460,000
for the Banner building.
Yes.
Wow.
Well,
wait, that's just for the building.
Correct.
Okay.
Wow.
I don't know that that's all that unusual for a building downtown.
No. It's a huge building.
Yeah. And not only that, when the government announces interest in something, all of a sudden, then there are other interested parties, and they think, oh, maybe we better snap that up, and then we can sell it back to them for $600,000.
Really?
I don't remember what the price per square foot was, but it was the most affordable building out of everything we've looked at.
And then there is a move afoot, it looks like, to restructure the city administration. We are growing, after all. We're doing things that we did when we were 10,000, and so maybe it's time to look at, is that kind of the impetus of this?
It is. In today's world, things are changing quickly, and Twin Falls is a major hub city for this area. We service a lot of people, and we decided it was time to take a look at our structure and see if we were really meeting the needs. We're implementing a new process with our staff that's for a higher quality output of services, and it's empowering people and really knocking down that chain of command so you're just not all in columns and tunnels, but everybody can work together. One example, who's on our streets more than our police officers? In years past, they were out there driving, doing their job. They didn't even realize how much help it would be if they'd call the streets department and say, hey, we have a pothole here that could really use some attention. So we're making those connections now where we can be more efficient in what we're doing instead of always doubling up on what we're doing because you're in the water department and you're in the streets department. Now we're all a team. So
are people going to lose their jobs if you're consolidating? Are there going to be any layoffs in this way?
No, there will not be any layoffs, but there will be changes in positions. For example, we have not filled the assistant to the city administrator since Mike Williams left, and that position will be eliminated. But we have found a better way and a team effort way to fill that in a different movement. Some of the staff will be moving positions. And for example, one of the things we're looking at is taking our dispatch out of the police and making it a civilian unit, because right now they answer calls for the water department, the streets department, the police, the fire. So to put them in a place where they can handle all that and have the information they need, it just makes that team atmosphere better so that people don't think, well, that's the police. Why am I calling you because my water's leaking? You know?
Yeah.
But
kind of like CERCOM. It'll be kind of run like CERCOM. Then they'll use civilians to run the dispatch.
Yeah, I'm not familiar enough with CERCOM too.
Yeah, okay.
Wait, but if you still call 911, are you saying they don't get those calls, or are they just going to break it out? Or
yeah, they're working on the structure for all that. It's going to take a good year to get all of these movements into place. For example, we're going to have a deputy city manager over public safety, and the recommendation is to move Chief Brian Pike to that position, so he will become a civilian. He will no longer be an officer.
Oh, I wonder if that bums him out.
That's what I was wondering.
Does that bum him out?
A little bit.
I guess he could have said no.
He could have, but it's got definite pluses and minuses, and it's going to be a good career challenge for Brian.
So we won't have a police chief, or we do have a police chief?
We will have to fill that position, and that has to be done before Brian can move to the other position.
I would hope so, because we just have to have a police chief.
We do.
You can't just wipe out the police chief.
So
maybe they can make him an honorary policeman or something.
That would be hard.
They can deputize him so he can still make arrests.
Does he know he's going to be a civilian now?
He does. Let me tell you, I think every council member has probably talked to him one-on-one to make sure that he is comfortable with this, because we don't want to move forward if it's not good for everybody. So there has been a lot of heartfelt thought and conversation into this. And we did hire a consultant to help us work through some of these issues as well.
So he's worked his way up as a policeman. Now he's a police chief. And then
now,
in order to move up in his career,
you have to leave your career.
That would be a heart-wrenching decision.
I think that would be hard.
To make.
It is.
Yeah.
Because also, if you're just police chief, someone's over you now too. So you lose your authority in the ultimate authority.
I guess that's another way to look at it too.
There's a lot of changes that are going to be happening because as part of public safety, he will also be over the fire.
Oh.
So we're losing our fire chief?
No, our fire chief will still run our fire department, but Brian will be the coordinator over all the safety issues in the city.
Oh, okay.
And the part of that lines up with our strategic plan. One of our headings is to have a secure community. And so all of the changes we're making line up each department with a specific strategic plan idea in mind, so that there will be a department that is really concentrating on helping us reach all those goals. It's very interesting when you see how it all lays out and falls into place.
I'm assuming there are other cities that do it this way, and have you looked into that, or is this kind of blazing new territory?
That's a good question. I really don't know.
Yeah.
This is what we felt was a fit for our city and our community.
Yeah. And a lot of times that's the best way to do it. So what if the other cities do it that way? It doesn't mean it's best for us.
Well, we're already unique where we have a city manager form of government.
Yeah.
So
there's only 2 or 3 towns in the state of Idaho that do that. 3.
Counting us, yes.
Yeah.
So we are already kind of doing things our own way.
There you go. See, nothing wrong with that. Oh, so now we officially have a senior citizens committee.
We do. We're very thankful for Bob and Daphne Mallory for pointing out to us that we really were missing a voice in our community. And
it's a big voice. It's really, I think it was startling the numbers, how it's increased over just a few years.
And it gets bigger in 3 days.
In 3 days.
Yeah,
That's right. Kelly.
I'll be 62.
Kelly's birthday. It's always about Kelly, isn't it? Always comes back full circle to Kelly.
There you go. So are you going to be one of our pilot members then?
Oh, I don't know.
Are you kidding me? He's never coming out of his ham radio basement. We will never see the likes of KLIXcast here again.
I'm going to be a hermit, I think.
Yeah. It'll be official, though.
There you go. So what we've done is we've kind of designed this committee under the guise of our youth council. And we have some general bylaws that our city attorneys designed. But once we get a group of seniors meeting, they can then kind of massage those bylaws and make them work for where the committee's going, and they will have their own president and secretary, and it will be open meetings. Everything will have an agenda and minutes taken at it. And then if they come up with things they want to present to the council, we'll be there.
So, what was I going to?
I can't see. 3 days. Look what's happening to you already.
Are they looking for members now, or?
We are, and if you're interested, you can either go to the city's website, tfid.org, or you can call City Hall. You can get Josh Palmer at 735-7312, or Leila Sanchez at 735-7287.
All right, very good. Now, is this kind of similar to the Transportation Needs Committee?
No, Transportation Needs Committee is going to be great. So as you know, as a growing community, there are going to be new federal mandates of things we have to provide to our community. And one of them is a fixed transportation system, whatever that looks like. So we, in April of this last year, we received a $40,000 grant to start working on transportation. The money isn't available until April of 2015, but we want to get a step ahead of the curve and get some public input on what are the needs in the community? What can we offer to help people get around town who don't want to drive or choose not to drive for whatever reason?
Yeah. And is it a big enough group in order to help to sustain that type of a system? We live differently, thank God, I guess, than they do out east, because out east, as Jill can attest to, everybody depends on the public transportation system.
Well, when
we're just not that way out
and
here.
Plus you have people living downtown, and so you do depend on it, and traffic's terrible, and it's invaluable.
Yeah, it's easier to let somebody else drive the bus.
There are so many pieces to this puzzle that it is really a lot to think about, and that's why the more voices we get, we can hopefully not miss anything.
So if someone's interested in this committee, what do they do?
They can call those same numbers.
Okay.
735-7312 or 735-7287.
Can they also go online and send somebody an email and say, hey, I'm interested?
Anytime. tfid.org. If you just go there, there's a link that says contact us.
All right. Now, a bit ago, we were talking about the Senior Citizens Committee, but the Senior Citizen Center also needs volunteers.
Desperately. It's that time of year that we really need to step it up and be looking out for our seniors. Jeanette Rowe has done such an excellent job bringing the seniors.
She's so dedicated.
Oh, my.
She is.
She really does.
She amazes me. She's just incredible, and right now they're really needing bodies to help.
And also on Wednesdays, they sell their cinnamon rolls to make money. So I haven't.
And what are they selling for? Like
$1.50 or something,
That's
$2
ridiculous.
or something,
They need to
and
double
they're
the price.
huge.
They'd be cheap
I
at
saw
twice
them.
the price.
Yeah. Anyway, they sell out, and if you want a big order, call them ahead of time so they can get your order. Because some guy goes in and just orders a bunch, and so they just have a standing order for him. I heard this when I spoke at the senior center. A few weeks ago. I heard this whole thing.
Once a month, they do a breakfast too for a fundraiser, and we take our grandkids and go down there, and it is fantastic.
And every day they have lunch.
Yeah.
And KLIXcast, you can get a discount now.
All right.
KLIXcast, and it's what, $4.50, $5.50 for lunch if you're not a senior, $4.50 if you are something crazy, and the food's great. They have a great chef there, so it's good to support them.
We got an election coming up. You just wanted to remind everybody to get out there and vote.
Yes, and Youth Council fundraiser this Sunday.
That's right.
What is it, real quick?
10 to 6 at Magic Wash. The Youth Council will be out drying cars for tips. Come support the Youth Council.
All right. Okay. We've got to get them on here. Would you make that happen, Jill? We got to get somebody from the Youth Council in here.
I'll get right on that, Kelly.
All right, do that.
Yes, Mr. Class. Whatever you want.
Thank you, Suzanne Hawkins.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
This is Top Story, and we'll be right back. 736-0300, the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Yesterday's $100 instant winning name is Lane Jackson.
Lane Jackson, congratulations.
Sounds like he could be a country western singer or something with a name like Lane Jackson.
I don't know.
And your $100 word of the day for today is bones.
Bones.
B-O-N-E-S, bones.
I'm kind of impressed because we're at October 22nd, and they have had words every day since October that are scary.
Yeah, Halloween related.
Well, bones are bones, but, and when you're in October, all of a sudden it's scary.
Yeah, right. You can go to our website, newsradio1310.com, click on Word of the Day, type in bones, listen tomorrow. If you hear your name tomorrow and you play the word today, $100 is coming your way.
There you go.
Well, we do have some more news items, really, that we need to talk about.
Well, I think the biggest one is Ben Bradley from the Washington Post. How he changed the face of journalism. Is that the one that you were?
No, but that's okay.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. You can just steal the show right out from under me and go ahead and run with it. I don't care. Go ahead.
Did you not think that was a big one? The former editor of the Washington Post.
That is a good point. He did kind of change the tide of journalism.
He really did.
Yeah.
I mean, he went after the administration. For those of you who might be a different generation, he was the editor for Bernstein and Woodward, who
the WAPO, the Washington Post.
The WAPO, yeah, but the whole Watergate scandal, they uncovered that, and frankly, without his courage and the backing of Katharine Graham, the publisher, they might have folded under the pressure of the White House. It's a fine line between journalism and you're your sources, your administration, your advertisers, and he really stuck with it and said, I'll print it if the story's right, I'll print it. And they did. And really, honestly, that was the reason Richard Nixon went down. Just a couple of reporters that, started looking into stuff. And wow, impressive. And he was just a hard-hitting journalist.
He died at 93.
I know, bless his heart. They won 18 Pulitzer Prizes.
Yeah. Can
you imagine?
So there you go.
Anyway, I think he changed the face of journalism, but I think journalism has changed back.
Oh,
it's not like
it's almost embarrassing to be involved in
if you call it
journalism these
journalism.
days. Yeah.
I mean, it's so editorial, it's so slanted, it's not hard hitting, and I think he was one of a kind and will be missed. Obviously, he hasn't worked in a long time, but I'm going to buy his biography.
The one I wanted to talk about.
Oh, sorry, Kel.
No, that's fine, Jill.
I thought that was
fine. You're just
story.
as much a part of the show as am I.
Oh, well, thank you. It's nice to realize that 2 months before you're leaving.
Listen to
Finally,
that.
you've admitted it. We have it on air.
Wah.
What is your most important story?
The 3 teenage girls from suburban Denver may have been trying to join Islamic State militants in Syria after stealing their parents' money and flying to Germany. The 2 girls, 2 sisters ages 17 and 15, and their 16-year-old friend were reported missing after they skipped school on Friday. But the families had no indication of where they might have gone.
To the grocery store, to their friend's house,
to the mall,
to
who
the
knows,
mall. No.
But they were stopped at the Frankfurt, Germany airport.
Did they have passports, these kids?
Over the weekend by FBI agents and returned to Colorado, where they were reunited with their families.
I hope they're putting a big time out.
Yeah, go to the corner, young ladies. A U.S. official said the girls were headed toward Turkey en route to Syria, and that investigators were now reviewing evidence, including the girls' computers. Another U.S. official called the case concerning both to the community and to the country in general. The official said the evidence gathered so far made it clear that the girls were headed to Syria, though the official said investigators were still determining what sort of contacts they had in that country. The official said investigators would be trying to figure out where there were like-minded friends and acquaintances in the girls' social circle. So this is happening not a lot, but a little bit. You have these teenage girls who want to go to Syria to become, I guess, concubines of the Syrian ISIS fighters.
They want to be concubines, or do they want to fight for ISIS?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Okay, let's go back to the start of that story. 15, 16, and 17-year-old teenage girls.
Yeah.
Hello. How much sense do you have anyway? Do they have any idea? I don't know where they get these ideas.
I don't either.
I mean, back in the day, you took your, people would take money from their mom and go to the convenience store or the mall. Now they're going to Turkey. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. One thing as a dad, something says, yeah, put them in timeout. Give them a paddling that they will never forget.
I mean, like they have any clue of what they were going to do? No. What clue could you have at 15, 16, and 17?
But another side of me is saying, let them go. Let them do that. Let them get involved with that side and see how they like it. They will be begging to come home within 2 weeks. We had a story here a while back about a young lady who did that very
19-year-old.
Yes. And she came back, and she's preaching against that stuff now, saying, you don't want to get involved with this.
Really? It's like, wow, it looks just so much more glamorous online.
It's irritating when these little spoiled brats go out and do something like that. And I'm almost thinking it would have served them right to have made it.
It's just crazy, but they probably
I'm a harsh, old, grumpy man when I say that, but I just feel like let them do it. 736-0300.
But they would look good in black.
We'll be right back. 736-0300. That is the number to call here on Top Story. And the folks at Clearwater Power Equipment would like you to stop by. Check out their Echo chainsaws, their Echo leaf blowers, and all the other stuff that they have. And if you have a big riding lawnmower or just a lawnmower or something like that you're going to have to store for the winter, because not too many people around here mow their lawn in the wintertime, although some use their lawnmowers to put a little blade on it, scoop what little snow we seem to get. But anyway, I digress.
But you digress again.
If you need a place to store it, get a hold of the folks at Clearwater Power Equipment. They can do that for you. Their number is 734-7767. They're at 252 Washington Street. This is chainsaw and leaf blower time of year. So these leaf blowers, they are something else. And like I said yesterday, you can use them for more than just blowing the leaves up into a pile. I use it to blow out my shop, my woodworking shop.
Very good for you,
great.
Kelly.
You open up all the doors, you turn on the leaf blower, and blow all that dust down. It really works well. So that's something to consider.
You should.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So give them a call. Tell them that Kelly and Jill sent you. Okay, so anyway, we got these 3 teenage girls, and I know I'm sounding like a grumpy old man. Just send them over and let them...
So which part bothers you the most?
Which part bothers me the most?
Yeah, I mean, like kids have no judgment. Teens have no judgment.
Agreed.
We hear this stuff all the time. And so I don't know what they were thinking. Does it seem glamorous? Does it like, oh, I'll wear a burqa and I won't have to decide what to wear every day? Like, what are they thinking to even think? And to take $2,000 from their dad's account. I'm impressed they all had passports. That's quite impressive.
Yeah, you would think. Maybe they were travelers. I don't know. Maybe they're rich little spoiled brats. I don't know.
Well, if they were, they probably wouldn't have taken from their dad. But you just think, what are you thinking? Is that what you were?
To get up in the middle of the night and steal $10 out of your mom's purse and sneak off with your boyfriend. I mean, that's a lapse of judgment. But to go with your friends and fly over to Germany, and you're going to go to Syria, and you're going to please the ISIS fighters, and you're going to join the fight. Come on now. That's being a traitor. I don't care if you're a teenager or what. Teenagers of yesteryear would have known better.
Well, I don't know. They did equally dumb things. It just was on a different level. But when you have the internet, you didn't have the internet back in the day.
That's right.
And so now you see this stuff, and I don't know what they're saying and what. I don't know. I mean, I would just put these kids on a timeout till they're, 21.
Oh, are you kidding? Till they're retired.
Well, you can't. I mean, they're an adult at some point.
7360300. Top story. You're on the air.
Good morning. This is not the story I wanted to speak to, but I've listened to enough of it. Tough love is not called for here. Obviously, these are young women, little girls maybe, and they don't understand. They don't understand what they're getting into. Obviously, women in that culture are not warriors. The United States has come a long way since I was in the United States Army, and we look at our women now that have joined as being warriors. Muslims do not look at their women as warriors. It is not 70 virgin men. It's not a choice between 70 virgin men and women. It's 70 virgin women for those that die for the cause. The whole system is set up against women, and the problem with tough love is they may never get an opportunity to come home after they learn the lie.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Learn the truth about the lie.
I don't think they should go, but I honestly don't think
they
would.
That's why I'm opposed to Kelly's even suggestion. And we need to do a better job we need to allow kids to read the Quran. They need to read what.
Have you read it?
We can't give them to read the Bible.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'm a very strong Christian, but I think that I must be knowledgeable about this satanic group. Now, the reason I called, I was a little upset that we're putting the governor down so quickly, because this is not the first time the Supreme Court of the United States has made an error in its judgment. And I would also like to remind people that the Supreme Court really didn't act.
That's true.
No, it didn't.
They declined to hear the challenge. But remember that in 1896, in Plessy versus Ferguson, the Supreme Court of the United States established separate but equal public schools. That situation lasted for 60 years before Brown versus the Board of Education. The Supreme Court was wrong in 1896. And they were finally overturned. The Dred Scott decision in 1857, which upheld that slavery in U.S. territories is A-OK, that was the Supreme Court, that was overturned by the 13th and 14th Amendments.
Mm-hmm.
So these decisions that the Supreme Court makes are not in stone for forever.
That is true, but let me just say, then we're going to go into a break here. Let me just say, though, that given the fact of things that are happening today because of what I read in the Bible, I think this is going to be made permanent, and I think it's the way we're headed. And I think, and I'm not saying maybe we shouldn't fight it, but I'm saying that as much energy as we put into fighting it, it's not going to make any difference. So that's kind of the ground I'm going on. But we're going to be right back here on Top Story. 7360300, the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Welcome back. We have some breaking news, Jill.
Yes, apparently there were numerous gunmen at the Canada War Memorial shooting. Authorities are working to figure out if there were 2 or 3 gunmen. Only one person was shot. Wednesday morning's gunfire in the main Canadian Parliament building started in the foyer, and a second round of shooting happened about a minute later in a hallway or near the entrance to the Parliament's library, Ottawa's journalist Josh Wingrove reported to CNN. He said several officers had weapons drawn, and most of the dozens of shots that he heard appeared to have been fired by officers at the gunman. When the shooting ended, a person was lying motionless on the ground near the library entrance. Oh. A lone gunman is deceased after shots were fired in Ottawa. A member of the nation's parliament, Bob Zimmer, tweeted Wednesday. So that's all we know.
Shooting at the Parliament in Ottawa, Canada.
And at the War Memorial near the Parliament. So I think that's where it started, and then they moved inside. So I don't know.
So there you go.
They're all on lockdown right now.
All right. We'll keep you informed as any
more
updates come in on that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
We'll have that on the Fox News at the top of the hour. One other story here I wanted to talk about briefly. Toys R Us is pulling its 4 collectible dolls based on characters from AMC's hit series Breaking Bad, after taking heat from a Florida mom who launched a petition campaign last week. The dolls are based on the series about Walter White, a high school chemistry teacher who turns into a crystal meth dealer, and his sidekick Jesse Pinkman of Boise, Idaho. Actually, he is the actor's from Boise. You did know that.
I was like, no, I don't.
You weren't even paying attention.
I was just finishing looking at CNN, but I was like, wait, I don't remember that.
Okay.
I don't watch that. I never watched that show.
The figures have a detachable bag of cash and a bag of methamphetamines. This was one of those shows. It was a series where
people loved it.
Highly addictive. Once you started watching, it's just like meth.
It's just like meth.
Once you got on it, you couldn't get away. And then when the series finale came out, then you felt dejected because your show was over. Anyway, Toys R Us, which is based in Wayne, New Jersey, told the AP late Tuesday that the dolls are being removed immediately from its website and shelves. The Fort Myers, Florida mom, identified by news media as Susan Shrivger, launched a petition on change.org last week demanding that Toys R Us immediately stop selling the dolls. The mom, who wrote the petition under the name Susan Myers, said that the dolls are a dangerous deviation from their family-friendly values.
Okay, in that sentence alone, so every store should be in line with Susan Myers' family-friendly values. I'm sorry, that's a little odd. Go on.
She wrote, while the show may be compelling viewing for adults, its violent content and celebration of the drug trade make this collection unsuitable to be sold alongside Barbie dolls and Disney characters, she wrote.
You could say that about a lot of things. G.I. Joe with his grenades and everything else and their guns and okay.
As of Tuesday, the petition had 8,000 signatures. On Monday, and this was the funny part, Bryan Cranston, the actor who played White, responded to the controversy, tweeting, "I am so mad, I am burning my Florida Mom action figure in protest."
He's so funny. Now, I never saw the show. But you know what? I think they have soprano dolls or whatever. They have violent things. Here's a news flash. Susan, you don't have to buy them. There's a huge shelf at Toys R Us. There's a lot of things I'm sure you will find objectionable. But honestly, if people want them, great. If they don't, you don't buy them. It's like turning the channel on your TV.
It almost sounds like she was, and I don't know if they were doing this or not, it sounds like she was against selling them next to Barbie dolls and other things.
Well, I think she wanted them to stop altogether.
The debate has spurred diehard adult figure collectors to rally behind Toys R Us. Daniel Pickett of Manhattan Beach, California, launched a petition on Change.org in favor of the toy seller keeping the dolls. So far, it's collected 3,000 signatures. Here's the way he puts it. He says, I'm a parent of a school-aged child myself, but I am informed, responsible parent, and I closely monitor the toys, TV, music, movies, and games that my daughters see. He wrote, that's my job, and I take it seriously, but I also like toys, action figures, and I want 3D representations of characters from my favorite properties, and I love being able to walk into a store and find them.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of other things she finds objectionable, just like I would find objectionable for my kid. But like I said, you don't purchase them. So there you go.
Well,
you have a choice.
It's kind of like going into a store and find, you got the birth control section right here with all the prophylactics, and there you're walking by with your young teenage son, and
you should say, you know what? Use those if you're ever sexually active. That's what you say. But you know what? There's things, and for her, because it's not in line with her family-friendly values, I'm not even sure what that means. The whole store should change it for her. Wow, Susan.
They are. They're pulling them from the shelves,
pathetic
apparently.
That Toys R Us would do that, honestly.
So.
And, there's a lot of things that would be objectionable as toys, and I've seen them. You don't buy them. Walk on by.
Yeah, I don't know.
Keep on walking,
if you're a toy
Susan.
store,
keep on walking.
If you're a toy store selling action figures of crystal
up.
meth dealers who are national heroes, I don't know. Maybe she's got a point there.
Why? It's on Netflix. People love it. It's won Emmys.
It's on Netflix.
Don't buy them.
But she doesn't want it in Toys R Us.
Well, I guess maybe Susan should work for Toys R Us.
I'm just saying, hey,
because little
point.
kids would know what they are. Come on.
We've got the Huckabee Report next, brought to you this morning by Waddell and Reed. Give them a call, 736-6563. You can hear the Huckabee Report each weekday at this time, brought to you exclusively by Waddell & Reed. Laura Nelson, Josh Funk, and Steve Stanger are the financial advisors, and the number is 736-6563. Seeing video now from the shooting, apparently, at the Ottawa Parliament. I think they kind of have things fairly much under control. There has been a shooting there. One person is dead. We'll have more on that with the Fox Radio News at the top of the hour. Meanwhile, with the irrigation season somewhat waning here in the Magic Valley now due to winter coming on, and it's like 39 degrees right now.
No, it hasn't heated up.
Well, it was 35 a while ago. So
but I mean, usually it's about 50 at this point.
Yeah, but it ain't today.
No, not.
But at any rate, you might want to consider some improvements to your irrigation system. The reason I say that is with Infrared Barren, they do overflights of your field. They take infrared photography. They give you the pictures that you can upload onto your computer, and you can see how your irrigation system is doing. And you might think it's just fine. But when you see infrared photography from the air,
this is what you know.
That's right. It reveals a whole new world, my friend. And you might think, oh, wow, we've got to do something. We've got to make some adjustments in our irrigation system. So to find out more about Infrared Barren and get it all put into place for next year, see the folks at Far More of Idaho. Their number is 324-3341. You can catch them online at farmoreofidaho.com. They can tell you all about Infrared Barren.
Mm-hmm.
I know what my costume is going to be.
Don't tell it yet, though.
At Trick or Treat on
Bishop
Street.
Though.
That's a secret.
Secret.
Yeah, because I don't want everybody, copying me because it's such a great idea. But at Trick or Treat on Bishop Street this year is going to be at the Fred Meyer parking lot on North Blue Lakes. From 3:30 until 6, dress up the kids. Hey, Mom and Dad, you can dress up too. It'll be over at 6, so it's a Friday, so you'll have time to take the kids other places if you want. Or if you don't, they'll get plenty there. But all of the sponsors line up in the RVs in a big circle, and the kids can trick or treat and get stuff, and it's safe, and it's just a fun place to be. So we'll expect to see you there on Halloween afternoon, October 31st. Ooh, you do that well.
Do I?
You are scary.
Scary.
Yeah, I didn't realize you were so scary.
You didn't?
Yeah,
You're with me every day. I think you
know,
do realize.
I know. I learn new stuff about you every day. The tragic life of Jill Skeen.
Hey, today I'm taking you out for lunch for your birthday, and then we're going to Canyon Pond.
Yep.
2:15.
That's right. Yeah, 2:15, 2:30. So
Dave
If you're listening, get the red carpet out for Jill.
And for Kelly, it's his birthday.
So anyway,
Saturday.
Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. We'll have Bob Keegan on tomorrow, who is running for CSI Board of Trustees.
Holly Wooding's on, too. Running for Secretary of State.
All right, going to be a political day tomorrow.
That's right.
See you then. Have a great day. Goodbye, Jill.
Bye, Cal.